All right, let's talk about something huge, something that's literally all around you every single second of the day, and that is production. What does that even mean? Well, it's the process that creates everything you see, everything you touch, everything you use. So let's peel back the layers and see how our world is actually made.
No, seriously, just for a second, look around you. That chair you're in, the phone or computer you're watching this on, what about that cup of coffee on your desk? None of that stuff just magically appeared, right? Every single one of those things went on this incredible journey to get to you. And that journey, that's production.
So, where does it all begin? You might think it starts in a factory with all sorts of noisy machines, but actually, it starts somewhere much simpler. It starts with us, with you and me. It all kicks off with the things we need, or the things we just want. I mean, think about it, right? If nobody wants something, why would anyone bother making it? The whole engine of production, the whole reason for it is just simple human desire.
And, there's actually a great word for this in economics. It's called utility. It sounds kind of technical, but it's a really simple idea. Utility is just the usefulness of something. It's the ability of a thing or a service to satisfy one of our wants. For something to be worth producing, it has to have utility. It's got to solve a problem for someone or just make them happy. So, a raincoat, its utility is keeping you dry. A video game, its utility is entertainment. Without that utility, an object is just, well, it's just stuff, taking up space.
Okay, so let's put these two ideas together. If production starts with our wants, and satisfying those wants is called utility, then what is production? It's not just about making things. Production is the process of creating utility. It's about taking raw, basic materials, like a tree or a pile of sand, and transforming them into something that we actually want, something useful, like a wooden table or the glass for your phone screen.
But here's a super important point, and it's one that a lot of people miss. The process of production isn't over when the thing is built. Nope. Imagine a brand new car that's just rolled off the assembly line. It's sitting in the factory. Is the production complete? Not even close. That car has zero utility just sitting there. The journey of production only ends when that car is in your driveway, when it actually gets to you, the final consumer. Getting it there is just as critical as building it in the first place.
Okay, so we've got a handle on what production is, but it turns out there are two totally different ways of going about it. And the big difference between them, it all boils down to one simple question. Who are you making this stuff for?
Let's break it down. On one side, you have what's called direct production. This is super personal. Think about planting a few tomato plants in your backyard. You're growing them for you and your family to eat, right? It's small, you're not selling them, you're basically the producer and the consumer. But then you've got the other side, indirect production. This is the one that runs our whole world. This isn't a backyard garden, this is a gigantic farm with modern tractors growing tons and tons of tomatoes to sell at grocery stores all over the country. It's huge, it's for sale, and it's all about making way more than you need, a surplus, so you can exchange it for money.
Now, for the rest of our time here, we're really going to zoom in on that second one, indirect production. Why? Because that complex, massive, interconnected system is how pretty much everything you buy gets made.
And this whole system can be broken down into three main stages. You can think of it like a ladder you have to climb, one step at a time. You've got primary, then secondary, and finally tertiary production. So let's dive into what each of those stages actually involves.
All right, step one, the very foundation of everything, is primary production. This is where we get our hands dirty. It's all about pulling raw materials straight out of the earth. We're talking about farming, mining, fishing, chopping down trees for lumber, basically anything that involves getting the basic ingredients directly from the land, the sea, or the air. This is us gathering the planet's pantry.
Okay, so once we have our raw materials, we move on to step two, secondary production. This is the magic stage, the transformation stage. This is where we take those raw ingredients and turn them into something else. That lumber from the forest, it becomes a chair. That iron ore from the mine, it gets turned into steel beams for a skyscraper. Secondary production is all about manufacturing, building, and constructing. It's where we actually make the stuff.
And that brings us to the final step, number 3, tertiary production. Now this stage is different. It's not about making physical things. It's all about providing services. And this covers two big areas. First, you've got the services that get the goods to us. The trucking companies, the warehouses, the stores we shop in. But it also includes professional services, people providing their expertise. Think doctors, lawyers, teachers, even hairdressers. This is the stage that gets everything distributed and keeps society running smoothly. So you've got these three stages: primary, secondary, and tertiary. How do they actually work together to create the world we live in? Well, let's put it all together with a really simple example.
Let's think about something as basic as a loaf of bread on your kitchen counter. Where did it come from? Well, it started as wheat growing on a farmer's field, right? That's primary production. Then, that wheat was harvested, taken to a mill to become flour, and then baked into bread in a big factory. That's all secondary production. And finally, that loaf of bread was put on a truck, delivered to your local grocery store, put on a shelf, and sold to you. That entire last part, that's tertiary production. See? That simple three-stage journey is happening all around us, all the time, for basically everything.
And that leaves us with a really interesting question, especially now in our super digital world. Think about it. When you stream a show or use an app on your phone, where does that fit? What's the raw material? Where's the factory? As more and more of our world moves online, you have to wonder, how are these classic stages of production changing? Do they still even apply, or are we creating a whole new kind of production? That's something to chew on. Thanks for joining me.